RetroPie is a software that allows you to create a retro gaming machine from any device running Linux. In my case, I've had a Raspberry Pi running my RetroPie out of a stock case with poor airflow and no power supply. My inspiration for this project came from the RetroPie online community where people show off the custom cases and arcade machines they built themselves. My main goal was to improve cooling and provide a better method of supplying power. I wanted to take it one step further and make an all-in-one case that I could use to play old games. I designed a case based on vintage arcade machines, complete with a joystick, 6 buttons, a case fan, and a power supply capable of powering it all. I chose a 12-volt, 5-amp power supply which would directly power the screen. The Raspberry Pi runs on 5 volts, and I used a 12-volt to 5-volt DC to DC converter to step it down. The fan runs at 120 volts, so I wired that directly to the voltage coming in from the wall outlet. The controls are powered by USB from the Raspberry Pi. I did a fresh install of the newest RetroPie software, installed a few classic games, and was good to go. Once all the rough cuts were made, I marked out the side profile and clamped the two sides together to make sure they'd be identical. I used a jigsaw and carefully followed my markings after making some initial cuts to get easier angles. I did overcorrect once when I strayed from the line and had to try a second time. I then marked out the layout for the control panel, pre-drilled some alignment holes, and used a 1.25-inch hole saw to cut spots for the buttons and joystick. I drilled mounting holes for the joystick and tested that everything fit well. The next step was to create a hole large enough to mount the case fan. It didn't need to be perfect, so I used the jigsaw to get the rough circular profile. I then did a rough sanding to deburr any edges that got messy. I began by scaling the design based on a 10.1-inch LCD touchscreen I'd be using. The case is 16 inches tall and sits on any tabletop at about eye level. Although most arcade machines are a combination of aluminum and plastic, I opted to give woodworking a shot and used half-inch plywood. Using my drawings, I sized and cut the plywood in the Rogers wood shop using the table saw. I made sure to account for the blade thickness while making all cuts.